Hi guys, this is Tina.
I'm Mary.
And we're doing another Bird Barf.
Yay! Alright.
This Bird Barf is going to be about the Jinx.
It's Robert Durst, who I'm going to call Fred Durst at least once, and then Limp Bizkit fans are going to be pissed. Is he from Limp Bizkit? I don't even know.
I don't know. I was like, I don't know who that is. Okay.
Oh, well. Anyway, the Jinx with Robert Durst.
Robert Durst, yeah. Is a fucking weirdo.
Yes. A fucking crazy documentary.
Pretty much, my reaction. Robert Durst is a fucking weirdo.
Yes.
So, being suspected of and or actually killing and chopping people up is probably not good for your health, judging by Robert Durst and the interviews with him. He's very twitchy and freaky, and so don't kill people.
And especially, don't chop them up. Although you might be found not guilty. Okay, so this is from the documentary The Jinx on HBO. There's nothing really to give away. We won't give away what happens at the end of the documentary. Because I guess there are surprises in the documentary. So even if you know the story, things happen where you go, really?
I think even knowing the story, because I was pretty familiar with most of the story before watching the documentary, and I still was shocked several times throughout the whole thing, even if not by certain situations, at least by, I don't know, shocked again by things that happened. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing just is crazy. What he got away with, or just stuff that it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And he's just, fascinating to watch because he is just, I don't know.
Lying constantly.
And just, they keep saying how smart he is throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, while you're watching him, I never really got the impression that he was super intelligent or super smart. But he had to be because of the stuff that he did and got away with, and just the stuff that he was able to, I don't know, the way he was talking about stuff. He knew what he was saying the entire time. He wouldn't say, he knew he would get in a lot of trouble if he slipped up
But then he would slip up. I was talking about this with my boyfriend, Brian, and we were saying how he really does display those characteristics you associate with a serial killer, with the idea of, they want to be recognized for their work, in a sense. Because he would do things where, he'd almost get away with something and then do something weird. Which would kind of get him caught or whatever. So there's one instance, this is very early in the documentary, where he's literally on the run from prison because he posted bail and then fled. But then he's got how much money?
He has over $30,000 in his car, cash, and $500 in his pocket. And he decides to steal a hoagie from a grocery store.
And I looked this up on Wikipedia because the documentary tells you about the sandwich. Apparently also he was stealing Band-Aids, but he did so by putting one on his face, which is why the security guards were looking at him this guy seems kind of weird. Odd behaviors. Yeah, it is very much like that sort of self-congratulatory serial killer. I kind of want them to know it's me, but I don't want to go to jail. Screw that.
Yeah, he's a weird guy. There's also just a lot of times where he would say, oh yeah, well I thought about doing this, and of course that didn't make any sense. And it's in regards to doing something really awful, and it's so he chose to do something more awful, and it's just that made sense though? What are you... What? And his use of logic is always really alarming. It happens several times throughout the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just... It's mind-boggling, really.
Yeah, it's a fascinating documentary. And even if you think it's something that you're not going to be interested in, same thing with, my beloved significant other. He's I don't want to watch this, da-da-da. Put it on. By, the end of the second, first episode into the second, he's already screaming at the TV. And, of course, I was, too, because it's, the things that happen and the way he gets away with stuff. Even if this seems like it's a documentary that you wouldn't be all that interested in, give it a try, just because the stuff that happens in it completely defies logic.
Yeah, it's better than fiction. It's crazier than fiction.
It's way crazier, way stranger.
And I'm not really, I don't watch a lot of documentaries. I like them, but I never really watch them for whatever reason.
And the way the documentary was made was great, too, because it starts off, it begins like, a traditional documentary, and the fact is he actually put the idea for it into motion himself.
Yeah, which is really crazy. They made, the director that did the documentary made the movie All Good Things, which is about Robert Durst.
Yeah.
And I saw that, so I actually knew a lot more about the story.
And I hadn't seen that.
And I didn't really like that. It wasn't very good, in my opinion. I don't remember. I think it was just really weird. Like, not very... It didn't really have many... Like, it wasn't very... And it didn't invoke a lot of emotions. Sorry, you're going to edit that.
That's fine.
Yeah, it didn't invoke a lot of emotions for me. I'm just like... Kind of just felt like meh while watching it. I didn't really care about what was happening.
Yeah.
But anyway, he watched that. Robert Durst saw that and decided, I want to make it... I want you to interview me.
Wouldn't it be great if you did interviews with me to go along with the movie? And then it wound up taking a lot more time and, all this stuff. It does start off, it's like flat documentary, but then it kind of starts moving into the realm of how the document, like with the film, the actual documentary maker, who would be helpful if I remembered his name, and Robert Durst, and like you see their conversations and you see how it branches out and becomes this whole other thing. So it really is, it's very well done.
It's very well done. And the other people that were interviewed too are also fascinating. Like his wife, Robert Durst's wife.
But the current wife.
Yeah, the current wife.
The one they can find.
Not the missing one who's probably chopped up into pieces somewhere. Yeah. She was fascinating just in that she clearly knows everything that he's done.
Yeah.
And
the whole and they have like random family members and stuff, and like all the Dursts are weird.
Oh my god, yeah.
With the exception of like that one nephew that's like okay, but he's kind of like whoa. So that's interesting too.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story because there's that whole other like he's just this a member of one of the most like wealthy families in the country
and powerful. Which they remind you of several times.
Yeah, and it's just like crazy the stuff that happens.
Yeah, and what everyone gets away with and just sort of chooses to ignore.
Yeah.
But don't ignore this documentary, because it's good. I definitely give it a barf of, like, what the fuck? Like, that's kind of what I kept showing.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Yeah, it's a good barfing thing. So, definitely recommend it.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.